Aren't you glad I didn't go home?
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Breaking news. And Tom's still in the office.
It's technically my birthday in Australia.
Is it really?
Yeah, I had a message saying happy birthday from Australia.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Thanks, Australia.
Have a tin of Fosters, which they don't drink.
Castlemaine 4X and a Barbie.
Slim Dusty.
News. We have news on a former WWE superstar reportedly signing with AEW. An update on two huge stars and their status for WrestleMania this year. And which wrestler did Chris Jericho try to convince to work in AEW? Find out in a little bit. If I was to say to you, breaking Brody news, you're probably thinking, oh great, a sequel to The Pianist. But I'm not, because this is a wrestling channel, you dingus. I'm talking about Brody Lee, aka Jonathan Huber, aka Luke Harper from off of WWE that time.
That's right, courtesy of the Wrestling Observer. It is expected that Luke Harper, Brody Lee, is just moments away from signing with AEW if he hasn't done so already.
His pen is literally hanging over the contract.
Right now, do it!
I'm just going to sign here. I'm going to write a letter here and do that.
Gee, the best impressions here.
Thanks,
at
mate.
Cultaholic. So, he's expected...
I do an impression of a journalist. Every day.
Not a great one. He's expected to use his old ring name, Brody Lee. Legally now, he could start as early as the 12th of February. That's when the no-compete clause in his WWE contract elapses. However, they decided that the best time for him to debut is in Rochester, New York, where he's from, where he's going to get the best crowd reaction possible. This is wonderful news. I think we all saw it coming.
That's really great thinking as well on behalf of AEW. You're right. This is one that's probably been on the cards since he was announced he was away.
Yeah, pals with Cody as well, which helps.
Exactly. It does help to have friends in the biz, but it's something that I'm glad they're not doing now, because I think Revolution is shaping up nicely enough as it is without sort of randomly chucking in that debut as well. That's something you can do after the fact.
Yeah, it's a good sell for the TV show, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, anything could happen, that keeps you watching, for sure. Who do you want to see him feud with first?
Oh, man. I mean, it depends how... they're very heavy on the heels on AEW. They've got so many great heels. I haven't seen enough Brody Lee work as a face. But whether or not, there's some intrigue to go down that avenue. Kind of want to see him mixed,
cheered, isn't he?
Yeah, I kind of want to see him though. Saying that, I'm going to contradict myself completely here. Kind of want to see him mixed up in the Dark Order a lot. Kind of feel like he's a sort of out there kind of choice for them.
As the leader?
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, good leader for sure.
Good talker, good wrestler, good overall package.
Big guy, yeah.
Big,
I like
beefy
it.
boy. How about you? Who'd you like to see him with?
I mean, he's going to come in, and if they're debuting him in Rochester, I mean, he's going to get a big reaction wherever he goes. But if they bring him in his hometown, then I think maybe they do want to present him as a babyface with a big crowd reaction behind him. So, I'm going to say, I like the idea of Sammy Guevara. Big lad, smaller lad, getting chucked about all over the place. I mean, he's popped up in Sammy's video, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, that's very true. The other alternative is Moxley. They've got history. There's incredible matches on the indies previously with Jon Moxley and Brody Lee. And I have a feeling that AEW is that sort of company that if Moxley doesn't get the job done at Revolution, then he needs an opponent. So Moxley and a heel Brody would have some phenomenal battles potentially. I think that's a nice little mix-up. It's tough because you don't want to kind of immediately put him with like the ex-WWE guy.
Yeah,
you want to see some
thinking.
fresh stuff.
Is that too sort of... Yeah, is that
too on the nose?
Maybe. I don't think they'd want to do... And Moxley's sort of got his hands full, but then maybe not after Revolution.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Looking ahead down the road to WrestleMania, two huge names who have been connected with WrestleMania. We've got a bit of an update on them now. The first one being Ronda Rousey.
Right.
Where does she stand?
Ronda Rousey is not expected to be at WrestleMania at the time. So the quote here is that if Lynch versus Baszler is the key women's match on the show, then it would have made sense for Baszler to win the Rumble, particularly since a large percentage of the viewership doesn't watch NXT and isn't familiar with her yet. Yet she's in the top women's match on the show unless Rousey is coming back, which, according to what they've been told at The Observer, Rousey will not be wrestling at this year's WrestleMania, and that's fine with me.
I don't think WrestleMania needs Rousey this year.
No, I don't. I think Shayna versus Becky is going to be fantastic. If they are going ahead with Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, that will be wonderful too. I think there's a lot there.
I kind of like the idea of Rousey popping up on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, in my head, like
nowhere.
Well, no, you could almost do the thing. Okay, this is a very obscure throwback, but stay with me. Remember when Randy Orton was about to face the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and Jake the Snake Roberts turned up, and he was like, "Hey, you want to watch him? He's a bad one, the Undertaker." And Randy Orton RKO'd Jake Roberts.
Snake on snake action.
Snake on snake action. It was blue. But the idea of Ronda Rousey coming back and Baszler coming out to meet her and going, "I'm going to do what you couldn't do." Nice. And Rousey's like, "Oh, well, you want to watch her? She's tough." And then Baszler breaks her arm.
Wait, breaks Rousey's arm?
Yes.
No, you've ruined it.
How have I ruined it? You can't have Rousey batter Baszler.
Because they're the horsewomen.
Yeah, but what?
They'll never break up. BFFFFFFs.
Oh, the WWE horsewomen broke up thousands of times. Yeah. I think there's money in that. I think it's just another thing that you do to establish Baszler.
I like that. It's a nice little cameo.
So,
I do like that. I take it back.
Yeah. Okay. So Rousey is a no. Maybe on the road. Who knows? How about our old buddy Mark Calloway, the Undertaker?
It's also a no. It's not. It's not. He is in talks currently to appear at WrestleMania. Right now, he's not booked on the card, but discussions are happening. Once again, as we speak, as Luke Harper's over there doing a little doodle, Mark Calloway and Vince McMahon are in a room and they're discussing
what's going to happen. Undertaker's Stone Cold session, I really enjoyed. Like, it threw me to hear him talk normally. Like, I always just assumed that his voice was, I'm digging a hole to put my souls in.
No, you didn't.
But then I thought it was.
He's done stuff like that before.
I've never heard it.
Have you not? On YouTube as well.
But even in 2000, he was still quite like, "Hey, I'm a bear man." But in this one, he seems like, "Oh, how you doing, Steve? Well, I'm having a great time. I'm on."
Colonel Sanders there, joining Steve Austin on the podcast.
Oh, tell me about your chicken. So Undertaker possibly at Mania, doing something maybe a bit meatier this time. Chicken pun vaguely intended.
Yeah, fair.
Rather than just kind of like
taking on the man from the KFC match himself, Ric Flair. It's all sorted.
Oh, living
chicken on a pole match. Who would you want to see him wrestle if he's gonna have a match?
Okay, so I'm racking my brains to think who is knocking around. Sting every day. There's Sting rumors again.
No,
Sting. He's a man called Sting.
I never really got why people wanted that so much because they're two spooky Yuki boys, right? Is that it?
The spooky fellows.
A spook off.
The spook buff.
Right.
Because he does this. He does that. He's gonna hit the Undertaker with a bat.
I definitely don't want to see that match because it won't live up to anyone's expectations, and my expectations for that are already down there. I want to see him do a proper match with Cena. Cena take a WrestleMania. We got a little bit. Got a little bit.
A little bit of that, maybe.
Proper.
What? Cena take a Mania full fat.
Yeah, it's just that's a big marquee match. That's going to sell a pay-per-view for sure. You want to see it?
I want the Spoopy boys.
More.
Spoopy lads.
It's just the worst, isn't it?
Because it'll be
time for you to go home.
Not yet, mate. We've still got news. It'll be a Monday Night Raw, and it'll be Sting pointing at his bat, Undertaker doing the old Spielens, and then all downhill from there. Yeah, from that one moment, everything else will suck, and I am here for it.
Hobble out of there. All the way.
25 minutes in ring. Techers. Do it, lads. AJ Styles update now. It looked like he took quite a bad injury during the Royal Rumble match itself.
Yeah, there were reports of his arm dangling all over the place, and it sounded super serial.
And also, when you look at the way that the Rumble entrance went down, like Gallows and Anderson were in there, but AJ was long gone by that point. Yeah. There was some talk and speculation forever, friend, that that match didn't pan out the way it's meant to, and Styles went out early.
Apparently, Baron Corbin, God bless him, did a great job communicating what the issue was to the people in the ring, like Edge, and going back and forth between them, and so that the elimination could happen as safely as possible. Which, fair play to Baron.
Ring General Baron Corbin.
That's right. So we have an update on this. We don't have the specifics of what the injury is, but we do have an estimated time for return, and it's not as bad as one may think. 4 to 6 weeks is the reported return.
Ooh.
Not too shabby, right? So it looks like WrestleMania is still very much a possibility for AJ Styles.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, the way that the arm went, they probably may have just popped it back in and told him to take some ibuprofen.
Stop whinging, Jesus. We've all done it.
He rolled back, they popped it back in, and they went, get back out there.
We're laughing at a man's injury.
It's funny, isn't it?
No, hopefully he's okay, of course. I'm sure he will.
This is AJ's final contract in WWE. He has said that he's ready to hang it up, and he wants to do so at the end of his current run. It would be a shame if this final run is tainted by an injury. I want him to come back, as you say, in time for Mania to give us something big. Possibly, what we thinking for Mania for
this
AJ
is
Styles?
about what I was going to ask you this. AJ versus
could you not?
Joe.
Oh!
AJ Joe I'd like to see in a TNA Spectacular.
It's quite a spicy meatball, that.
Thank you very much. You?
Yeah, well, I was going to suggest the OC versus the Undisputed Era.
That's nice.
But like, chuck that bad boy in there. I think.
I guess Joe's doing stuff with Kev at the moment, and you could do a 6-man, couldn't you? You could have Joe, Kev, and someone else versus all of the OC. Who's that someone else? Sting. Why not?
Sting. It's got to be Sting, innit? Got to be Sting. Get well soon, AJ. See you in time for Mania. And finally, Chris Jericho has been chatting about a particular New Japan star that he was trying to get in to do a feud with himself.
Jack's erect. It's Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay. And the quote here, Chris Jericho tried to get Ospreay to take some AEW dates and do a program with him, with Chris Jericho, for the AEW title between Japan tours. But bad news, I'm afraid. Ospreay is 100% loyal to New Japan. Mm-hmm. Damn!
Damn your loyalty, Will Ospreay! Yeah. I would be very intrigued by that match at some point down the road.
I just think they're two guys who would bring out the best in each other. Obviously, Jericho isn't the quickest guy anymore.
No.
But Will Ospreay is, and you just know that they'd do some really inventive stuff, and they would just play off each other so well. Two guys who, of course, just get wrestling, get storytelling in wrestling. Like, people talk about Ospreay, still to this day, about being a guy who just does high spots. He's so much more than that.
This says a lot about the constant discussion on the relationship between AEW and New Japan. Because some people say the door's open, some say it's closed, some say it's ajar, some say they're installing a cat flap, some say they're installing that weird window which all looks a bit broken and glassy that you can't quite see the postman through. We're not sure about the relationship or the status of the door between AEW and New Japan, but this suggests that they're not in a mad rush to bring anything together.
And on that note, because we can't top that, Tom's going away for a little bit now.
That makes you sound like you're sacking me.
He's going to eat some cakes and read his P45, and that's totally fine. No, you're back on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We'll have other people filling in for the news until then. But genuinely, happy birthday from me.
Thanks,
happy birthday from all of them. Leave nice comments below and have a wonderful time.
Or just
happy 40th.
Oh, don't. I've got another 2 years yet.
See you in a bit.
Bye. Going on my holiday now. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.